Van Gogh is a famous painter from the Netherlands who lived from 1853 to 1890. This troubled artist is one of the most recognized artists to date. Some of his most famous work includes The Starry Night and Almond Blossoms. Though Gogh only painted for a mere 10 years, his art has influenced artists from all over the world. Gogh was part of the post-impressionist movement. The style is characterized by an artist's use of color, expression, thick application of paint, and symbolism to paint real-life subject matter. From an early age, Gogh had shown an interest in art and loved to draw things of nature. However, Gogh considered art to be a hobby rather than a career, and spent most of his life working in different professions. It wasn't until he was in his late 20s that Gogh decided to pursue his passions and become an artist. Many of his early works consisted of drawings of poor working people. Gogh even considered himself as a peasant painter. In 1885, Gogh had completed what many consider to be his first major work, The Potato Eaters. Compared to his other famous paintings, The Potato Eaters lacks the color in which Van Gogh is famous for. Although this painting has similar characteristics with his older paintings, you can see that Gogh was still trying to figure out his art style. A year later, Gogh had moved to Paris, and that spring he saw an Impressionist exhibit that had great influence on his art. The exhibit showed a new form of Impressionism, called Neo-Impressionism. Artists like Monet used color and pointillism, or dots, to create a picture. From this moment on, Gogh decided to embrace color in his paintings and used Impressionist techniques to express his emotions, thus finally finding his art style in which made him famous. One of Gogh's most famous paintings is Sunflowers, an oil painting painted in 1889. The painting greatly reflects Gogh's style of post-impressionism, from his use of shapes and colors, as well as the expressive lines used to give curves to the flowers and stems. One major component to this painting is Gogh's use of yellow. Lighter yellow is used to paint the lively flowers, while darker yellow is used to paint the withering ones. Being that this was painted only a few years before Gogh's suicide, the different shades of yellow could symbolize Gogh's past and current emotions. The brighter yellow representing a happier time in his life, while the darker yellow showing difficulties in Gogh's life at that particular moment. Another component that shows Gogh's post-impressionist style is his brush technique. Like a lot of his paintings, Gogh uses quick, thick brush strokes to paint his flowers, specifically the withering ones. This technique used gives an almost agitated or stressful feeling to the painting. Gogh's most famous painting, The Starry Night, is also an oil painting. This was painted during Gogh's stay at an asylum. When you first look at the picture, the first thing that will probably grab your attention is the swirls in the night sky. Rather than painting the typical pointed star shape, Gogh chose to use a more abstract shape. Gogh's brushstrokes are thick and quick, giving the illusion of motion. The light in the painting comes from the sky and from the village. However, the painting is predominantly blue, giving a darkness to the painting. Many believe that this contrast between the light and dark is supposed to reflect Gogh's emotions during this time. As mentioned, this was painted during Gogh's stay at an asylum. After suffering from years of depression, Gogh had tried to commit suicide. So the darkness in Gogh's life could be represented by the darkness in this painting, while the light from the sky in the village could show a sign of hope that life can be better. One of Van Gogh's last paintings is his self-portrait, which was painted in 1889. This picture greatly reflects Gogh's state of mind during this time. Immediately, the viewer is drawn to the look in Gogh's eyes, which give a very anxious, fearful feeling. First, Go uses short brush strokes to paint his face. However, the strokes become more intensified throughout the picture, with the background having similar brushstrokes to those of the Starry Night. Again, Go uses color to express himself in this painting, the main color being a bluish green. Although this color typically has a calming effect, its contrast to Go's red beard creates a more of an anxious feeling to the painting. This could be Go's way of showing himself through two different points of views. One on the outside. On the outside, Go was perceived to be calm and collected, while on the inside, Go felt that his mental health was spiraling out of control. It is known that Go went through cycles when it came to his mental health. For months, Go would have control over his depression, then suddenly he would have a breakdown that included hallucinations and seizures that could last for weeks or even months. The constant fear that these breakdowns could happen at any moment became too much for Van Gogh. And the following year, Go shot himself. Although he didn't die at first, doctors were unable to remove the bullet. And in the early morning of July 29th, Go passed away. His final words being, "The sadness will last forever." Over the next few decades, Go received worldwide recognition for his paintings and greatly influenced artists all around the world. One artist that was particularly influenced by Go is Stefan Duncan, also known as America's Van Gogh. His use of swirls, quick brushstrokes, and use of color is very reminiscent of Go's post-impressionist style. Stefan describes his style as swirlism, that is a new branch to post-impressionism. Unlike Go, however, Stefan tries to capture hope into all of his paintings rather than his own emotional state. Though Go only painted for 10 years, his talent has captivated people from all around the world, and to this day he is considered one of the greatest artists to ever live.